In this video, I'm going to talk about fear, and I'm going to talk about the characteristics and the habits of a man who's not facing his fears, who's making excuses, and not taking action. And the reason I'm going to do that so I can educate you, make you aware of the wrong habits and behaviors, so you can develop the right habits, the right behaviors, so you can successfully take action on your goals, your dreams, and the things that you want to do in your life. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel, or if you've been watching the videos and enjoying them and you forgot to hit subscribe. Just to let you guys know as well, I'm back coaching after a long time, a long break away, and it feels great. So if any of you are interested in applying for my mentorship, my famous signature 6 weeks program, just to let you know, I do in-person coaching and I do online coaching, because some people can't get to me in person, obviously with the times that we're living in now. So don't worry, we can achieve the same results online over Zoom. If you can get to me in person, then brilliant, we can do that. So either way, we can find a program which works for you. I also do short-term programs, because I know not everybody, it's not right for everyone. They might not need to invest in 6 weeks or 6 months. Some people might just want to do a couple of sessions or a single session. If you want to know more about my coaching, you want to speak to me, email me, and then I'll respond to your email. We will set up a Zoom call and we can have a conversation. I can explain to you price, logistics, time frame, and find out what program would work best for you. Just to let you know as well, I don't work with anyone and everyone, because not everyone is coachable. So if I feel for any reason that I can't work with you, it's not personal, I'm respectful, but I will tell you on the call, I can't work with you, and you'll have to find someone who can work with you. But hopefully there is chemistry and I can work with you. So, I'd like to tell you now. And I'd just like to tell you the type of clients that I love working with. I love working with good people that have got a good attitude, that are committed, that are reliable, and that are as passionate as I am about overcoming their fears and building their confidence and self-esteem, so they can live the life that they want to live. Anyway, let's get into the video. So this fascinates me, because I observe this in human behavior, and I've always been fascinated with psychology. I know a lot of you are. I observed this in myself, and I observed it in friends over the years, people, and it's one of the consequences, it's one of the behaviors. It's unconscious. It can become conscious if you've got enough courage to be aware and admit it. Obviously, sometimes we're really good at seeing other people's behaviors because we get to see a different view that they can't see. So the characteristics and the habits of a man who's not facing his fears will always result in talking too much about other things. And the talking is unconsciously a distraction. That's his way of distracting himself away from his responsibilities and his fears, and distracting other people from looking maybe at him and his life and the way he's living his life. And that can come in this form. It can come in the form of talking about what other people are doing. It can come in the form of reading too many books and then quoting the wisdom, the knowledge, and the know-how from these books, but still failing to act on the knowledge. Because what's the point of knowledge if you don't act on it? It's pretty useless. All you're doing is paraphrasing. You're just repeating great wisdom that you've collected intellectually, that other men and women have gone out through their hard blood, sweat and tears and have faced their fears in real life to get that wisdom. So you're just getting secondary wisdom, which is not yours. And, it's making you intelligent in the wrong way. I call it an intellectual coward, someone who's collecting theory knowledge. They can speak on, this is how you do that, that's how you solve that problem, that's how you conquer fear, that's how you make money, that's how you improve relationships. But they're not doing it in their life. They're not succeeding. They don't have those results. They don't have the confidence because they're not taking action. They're not facing the fear. Facing fear will give you the type of education that even I can't give you. Even the school system, society, books, because experiential wisdom and intelligence is just more valuable, as far as I'm concerned, than the theoretical side of it. Now, of course, people are going to always have a counter argument, and I can debate that. Intellectual knowledge definitely has its place, but not in this domain. Not in a domain where action's required. When we're talking about the domain where we need to take action on our goals, we physically got to go and show up and speak to someone, or do a talk, or do business, or or do, you know, or train or lose weight, that has no place for intellectual masturbation and theory, because that don't work. All of you have tried. Hasn't worked for you up until now, and it never did work for me. But when you're talking about a different area like studying at school, university, then that's fantastic. Or if you generally just love reading books, that's your hobby, and you like educating yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking that. But I am knocking when someone makes excuses and they lie and they bullshit themselves and they say, yeah, I know this, I know that, and they start quoting, you know, they start quoting stuff from spiritual masters and you know, whoever, inspirational people, but they're quoting from such a weak place because they're not living it, they're not taking action. So the words just fall on deaf ears, and that's what the saying says, actions speak louder than words. They do. I could say all these things on this video, but if I don't do it, if you don't see me doing, or even at least some of it, you ain't going to respect what I'm saying deep down. You won't trust it. So that's the power of taking action. Another characteristic, of course, is blaming other people. That is a result of someone not taking responsibility and facing their own fears. Whether you blame your parents, your school teacher, society, your friend, your partner, the next person, even if sometimes some people are to blame and they have done you wrong, we've all had that done, it's still an excuse. It's still you saying, I'm going to find a way out. Generally, fear always wants you to find a way out. That's how it gets its power. That's how it survives, by you not confronting it and facing it and overcoming it and continuing to do that. So that's another one. Another characteristic which is really weak is really harshly judging other people, being jealous, envious, judging people that are facing their fears, that are successful, or even judging other people that are not facing their fears. It satisfies your ego, it satisfies you, and then it makes you feel terrible after. So that's another characteristic. And again, it falls into talking too much and acting very little. And that's what creates bad character. Good character is an individual, is a man who says what he's going to do and goes and says it. That's how you win your own self-respect. That's what builds strength, self-esteem, reliability, accountability. It makes you a kind of human being. Another consequence, of course, is addiction. Any form of addiction and any habit which makes you feel good short term and then leaves you feeling bad long term and affects your mental health and your relationships. That's another consequence. What else is there? They're the main ones. There's probably a few others in between that. Another common one is saying that you're going to face your fears. A lot of people have done it. Of course, I've done this. We've all done this at some point, where you sit down and people will say, or they write goals, I'm going to face that fear, I'm going to face that fear. And what they do is they talk about it so much and try and convince themselves that they're going to do it. And in talking too much about what you're going to face, you talk yourself out of it. You just exhaust your energy. And all you're kind of doing is, the fear's tricking you. The fear's so intelligent. You think you're outsmarting the fear, but really the fear's outsmarting you. One of its tricks is to get you to say that you're going to face it. And then after you say all that, the next day comes, you've got anxiety, you've got nervousness, you've got fight or flight, and you're not able to cope with the feeling, and then you don't do it. So I always say, be careful what you say. Be careful, because words are powerful. And it's not like, saying that is, going to put you in danger in that sense. No, but it's gonna keep you where you are. So you could collect all the knowledge. You could watch every video online. You could study every master. You could watch all my videos. But if you don't take action, then you're just as good as doing nothing, because you are doing nothing. So by all means, collect great information, learn from mentors. That's intelligent, but make sure you take a balanced amount of action so you can really live the wisdom and the information, because it is an addiction in itself, hearing people teach and tell stories and give you anecdotes and teach you strategies and do motivational talks. That can become bad. Something originally that's fantastic, that's great. I love motivation. That's why I got into teaching, coaching, because I know it works. I've done it for so many people and I've done it on myself. But you can use that in the wrong way. Like I said in my other video, NoFap can be brilliant, but most guys, from what I've observed, they use NoFap in the wrong way. Their fear takes over. So they hide behind NoFap and they don't face 20 of their responsibilities and fears. And that's why they're not happy, not successful. They're not where they want to be. So you have to be aware. You have to be aware of where you're not being truthful, and yet basically you have to be aware that you're not taking action. Now, of course, if you are taking action, then fantastic. Keep doing what you're doing. And that process in itself is I always said to clients, I've always said it, you know, there's a certain amount of my coaching, obviously, will either explain things and educate, motivate and teach. But I say nothing is more self-explanatory than you facing your fear right now on this course, on this 6 weeks program that we're doing. That's going to give you knowledge that you just can't put a price on that. But I'm going to help you and give you the tools and help you to build the mindset and give you the confidence and the courage so you can face your fear. So you don't gain character, you don't gain... See, the reason why guys get so addicted to this, because it is addictive, it gives you highs, it feels good in the short run, and it's comfortable. Watching videos online is comfortable, watching podcast shows is comfortable, reading books is comfortable. You know, for most part, having conversations with your friends that you're comfortable with about facts, who said this, who said that, that strategy, that person, this person, that's comfortable for the most part. But you actually going out when you're full of adrenaline and you're nervous and you're sweating and you've got that sickly feeling in your stomach and your mind's racing when you're terrified, that's not comfortable. That is, yeah, it's not comfortable. But when you face it, wow, you feel great after. And if you keep facing it, you feel good for a long period of time. So like I said, this is denial. This is defense mechanisms. This is blocking it out. This is talking it out. I saw it growing up. I had friends that did it firsthand. This is when I wasn't as educated as I am now because I didn't have the experience back then, but I had intuition. And they would tell me, you should read this book. I'm reading this book. I'm this, I'm that. Obviously, it's pride, it's ego. It feels like it's getting somewhere. But then I realized later on, they're not getting anywhere. They're not happy. They're not in good shape. They don't have good relationships. And I don't want to be like that. And they're giving me this advice from the wrong place, rather than giving me the advice because it's from the heart and it's the right advice. And it never worked for me because I didn't trust what they were saying. Because if a man's going to give me advice, I got to look at his life. I got to look at his character. I got to see if he's truthful. And if he's not, I can't trust the advice that he's given me. Even if the advice is congruent, it's right, because it's from a book, from someone who did go out and do it. So, you know, truthfulness is important, and nobody's perfect. We're not saying you don't need to be perfect to successfully do this, but you got to be truthful and honest. You can't just sit there and quote stuff that you've read. That doesn't make you brave. It doesn't take any courage to quote a great master, or even to quote some of my wisdom. Really, you want to take action and have your own wisdom and quote your own wisdom, because the stuff I say comes from my journey. Become fearless. That comes from my whole life journey. Me taking action, me failing, falling, getting up, succeeding. You know, enjoy the process. That comes from me enjoying the process. You know, enjoying being around other people. That's not things that I read from someone. That comes from my heart. What's your quote? I want to hear your personal, because you've got a unique personality, rather than you just repeating. It's great. You can obviously use my quote and say it. I sometimes say other people to motivate me, but I have my own. Everybody's unique, so although we all share many things in common, that we all have fears, we all got dreams, we're all human, we all kind of want the same thing, but our own way of, you know, our own version of going about that it should be different. It shouldn't be the same. Batman and Superman are very different, but they both do the same thing. They both, you know, help people, save people. They both fight evil. They have different costumes, they have different personalities, but they have similarities. So in the same way, I grew up over the years, I've been around lots of people, as you can probably tell. I've been around action takers, I've been around bullshitters, I've been around guys that choose to be cowards and guys who are really brave. So I can see the difference between the two in about 30 seconds, maybe a minute. And you know, you see patterns. So I make these videos as well to educate you, so you can eradicate these patterns from your behavior. You can stop talking fluff and talk sense. And when you talk sense and you talk some truth, people will love you, they will respect you. Some people won't like you, but who cares? You're always going to get that. Then you can really help people, and you can feel better. And I know you guys want to feel better in your own skin. And it gives me great satisfaction knowing that I can help you to get there, or even play a little part in that. Some of my teachings and experience and the teachings that I've learned from other people. So, all you've got to do is the opposite to this. And really all you've got to do to have good character is start taking action and being accountable. And just be careful of not getting too emotional and letting your emotions tell you, because I've always been aware of that. My father brought me up like that. Be careful what you say, don't make a fool of yourself in that way. Yeah, we say don't care what people think, that's important, but you don't want to make a fool of yourself. And you'll do that if you keep saying to people, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then they're not really going to hear what you say. They might listen, okay, that's interesting. They're going to look at what you do. And if you don't do it, even if they're not aware of it, they're going to lose respect for you. And you're going to lose respect for you. So self-respect, others respecting you, is about you being able to take action. Now listen, people will respect this as well. I will respect this. You will respect it. If you can't manage to face your fears at the moment, just be honest. Just be straight. Don't let ego get in the way. That's a success in itself. Just say, I can't find the courage at the moment. Too afraid. I'm terrified. I can't face it. That's brilliant. But a lot of guys won't do that. They will, their ego takes over, and it's like, I watched this, I read that, this person said that. I know this, I know more facts than you. But I'd rather not know all the facts that you know and have all that theory, but take massive action. Because I know the value of me taking action, and the wisdom I'm going to collect through that action is going to be far more valuable than anything you could tell me. Because if you take action, you don't really need to listen to anybody, for the most part. You don't need to watch my videos, you don't need to watch anybody's videos, but most people won't do it because the emotions that come up, how fear feels, how it makes them feel, the psychological stories and voices, but most of all it's emotional. The adrenaline, it's a very frightening, uncomfortable feeling, but when you practice it consistently, you can do it and you will do it. And when you do it, you gain confidence, you gain wisdom, you gain self-wisdom, you learn about yourself, you gain more courage, you get braver, and then the fear turns to excitement. And then you become fearless and you enjoy the process of becoming fearless. And, you just go from strength to strength. So, I wanted to educate you on that. So, at the end of the day, it all comes down to one thing. It doesn't come down to what videos you watch, what seminars you went, what books you downloaded, how you philosophized. That doesn't mean anything. It comes down to the action you've taken. And I find the more action you take, in a good way, the less you talk. Because you don't need to explain yourself to people to get approval, to get love, or to get understanding, or to fit in. You speak when it's relevant and it's more genuine, it more flows, the energy is nicer. But a lot of people do that. I've done that myself. We've all done it. And I see people that they're trying to explain themselves to get approval. They're trying to be liked. They're trying to show that they're smart and they're trying to be something that they're not, or trying too hard. And that just gets exhausted. And eventually you come back to the same predicament, not being happy in who you are, not being confident, feeling like a coward. So I always say this, and I really believe it in my heart. Every single one of you could do this. You could face your fears. If I could do it, how insecure and sensitive and scared and afraid. If I could do it, then all of you could do it. And I've helped hundreds of my clients to do it. So let's make a decision. For those of you that are ready to take the next step for mentorship, get in touch with me. I'll help you to do this. I'll help you to overcome your fears, whatever they are, whether it's social anxiety, life anxiety, relationships, taking action, or maybe just having a conversation, being able to get it out. But I will say this, I want to separate this. Getting out how you feel is a wonderful thing. I don't want you to confuse that with the things I said earlier, where you talk too much and you quote stuff and you get distracted. Talking heart to heart, man to man, or man to woman, or both, when it's done with sincerity and honesty and you're genuine, that has a wonderful effect on your psychology. It's good for your mental health. Obviously, you still got to act on the conversation. So I make an analogy. I've always had a great respect for like therapy and psychologists and people that help people, because I know what it takes. It's hard work and I know the impact it can have. But I always say, if you just sit in a chair all day and just talk about your problems to someone, professional, or you get coaching, I ain't going to solve them. It might, validate you, it might make you feel better and understood, which is nice, but eventually you're going to come back to not being happy. You've got to act at some point. The therapy should be a supplement. It should be part of the process of you eventually building up the courage. And that's really ultimately what you're doing. Most therapists that are worth their money and their wisdom are there to help you, to support yourself, to give you the strength, to get to a certain point where you're ready to go out and face what you need to face so you can be who you want to be and live the life that you want to live. So I hope you got a lot out of this video. I'm confident that you did. Let me know in the box below what was the most valuable thing I said today. And that's why I said being aware of the wrong characteristics and the right way to go about it is how you're going to do this. Because obviously you can't not face all your fears and then, you know, expect to have a great character. It's not going to work. And at the same time, you can 100% accept to have a better character, be a better person if you go out and you confront your fears and get comfortable being uncomfortable and you keep working hard, all right? So I look forward to the next video and thank you for all the support. I'll speak to you guys soon. Fearless.